Hi, everybody. Name is Alex Sasso. I'm the lead portfolio manager for the NCM Income Growth Fund. Today is Monday, November 27th, 2023. Hard to believe that November is almost behind us. And speaking of this Monday, it's affectionately known as Cyber Monday, the busiest online shopping day, traditionally the busiest online shopping day of the year. And just a few days ago, we had Black Friday, and preliminary data shows that Black Friday did just shy of $10 billion in online sales. And that represents a 7.5% increase year over year, so pretty significant. And I would also say much better than what most analysts had been predicting. And obviously, this was significantly ahead of pre-pandemic levels by the tune of almost a third, 33%. And when you combine that with Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving sales in the US, online sales grew at call it roughly 7%, with the 2 days combined to roughly 15 billion or just over 15 billion. So some pretty significant numbers in a pretty tough economic environment. I would say some analysts are predicting that Cyber Monday today will represent the biggest online shopping day of the year, which it, as I mentioned earlier, has traditionally been. And the number that analysts are expecting is around 12 billion in sales. And just to give you one point of reference, here back at home in Canada, we have Shopify. And for Black Friday, they represented really strong numbers. It was a record for them. They saw growth in transactions and dollar value of transactions through their solution. It had grown to about by 22% to 4 billion just themselves. So this is really strong. And then the other thing I would mention is the company talked about the average ticket, and the average ticket was up 7%, just over 7%, to $110 a person. So again, quite strong numbers. There's another firm that puts a survey out there called Salesforce, and they noticed that from a global perspective this time, Black Friday online spending was about 16.5 million versus 15 million a year ago. So quite strong numbers. And I think the lesson in all this is that jobs equals spending. So when somebody in North America feels confident about their employment, they tend to spend, and particularly at these holiday season. And I think it kind of sets up 2024 pretty nicely. And as we think about 2024, BMO put out a chart in their 2024 predictions just recently, and it's a chart showing the S&P 500's performance 18 months after a 20% gain from the bottom of the market. Again, when you have a 20% gain, it signifies a new bull market. And so what they're saying is 18 months after that bottom, the market is up roughly 23% on average in those kind of cycles since the 1950s. So very, very significant numbers. And as a result of this and a bunch of other work that we're doing, we've started positioning the portfolio utilizing some of the dry powder we had, i.e. some of the cash we had. And so we've invested in some new companies, for example, a company called Pollard Banknote, which we're really excited about, a company called Stelco, a company called Wajax, and finally a company called Texas. Now, you may have heard me talk about Texas in the past because we own it in NCM Small Companies. And we've just introduced it to the NCM Income Growth Fund. And so what Texas does is they provide supply chain management software that's really focused in on the retail channel and the hospital and hospital network channels. They're having really good success with the hospital network channels. Now, for the last couple of years, you may look at some of their growth rates, which are still significant, but you may think that given what happened with COVID, that their sales should have been stronger. Well, in reality, those hospitals were too busy to implement a brand new software supply chain management solution. And what we're seeing today is we're seeing those hospitals now have the bandwidth to implement these solutions, which obviously benefits Texas, and the reason why we decided to put it into NCM income growth as well. I'll leave it there. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to your regional salesperson at sales@ncminvestments.com. Thank you.